Hey everybody, good morning. It is Monday, June 17th. I just want to remind you guys or give you a heads up, if you're on my Patreon channel, which if you're hearing this, you are, I am going to be on vacation starting Friday, the 21st, and I won't be back until the 8th of July. So there's going to be a couple weeks that I won't have cards up. I'm going to do my best. If I do get messages while I'm on vacation, I will try to drop something in here, but I'm not sure yet traveling how I'm going to, like how my service is going to be and all of that good stuff. So we'll see how it goes. I'll do my best, but I wanted to let you know that since I'm going to be on vacation, I actually have a bonus for you guys that's going to post on Thursday, the 20th. So it's kind of a thank you and a bonus. It's a connecting with your guides and angels workshop that you can watch and listen to for free instead of having to buy the workshop, since you're on my Patreon and since I'm not going to be doing cards for those 2 Mondays. So I hope you guys enjoy that instead. And again, thank you for being on my Patreon. I would love to hear from you guys on Patreon. It's really new to me. I'm still figuring it out, but I did notice that there's like a community tab in there so you can make comments and stuff. Or if you're connected with me also on Facebook, go ahead and drop me a message and let me know some of the things that you would like to know more about. I have a couple things in the queue that I plan on doing videos on, but again, I'm kind of a little bit on vacation mode. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up about that, but let you know I'm not going to just not give anything to you while I'm gone. I've actually got it planned to give you that workshop in place of the Monday readings for the readings that I'll be gone. That being said, I do have people that will be filling in for me in the Embodied Grace community on Facebook. So in the community group, if you want to get readings there, they will be there as well for you on the Mondays that I'm gone. Okay, so that's kind of the housekeeping stuff. Today is really, really interesting energy. This whole weekend, and I have been asking if it's full moon, and I think it's maybe amplified a little bit because of the full moon, but I don't really know that it's necessarily just full moon related, but literally I felt like I was buzzing. My energy feels a little scattered. Like it just feels almost like, okay, so coming back to my roots, being the redneck kid that I am, it's almost like if you stand too close to an electric fence, if the electric fence is pretty hot, you can almost feel it vibrating. And that is kind of how I'm feeling right now. Like the energy is just crazy. So do your best to just stay calm right now. Do your best to get outside if you can. Like today, it's pretty cloudy and overcast and rainy where I'm at. But I'm going to still try to get outside for a little bit. I am drinking coconut water because for whatever reason, for me, coconut water seems to be something that makes me feel a little bit more grounded than just plain like water. So do whatever you need to do to try to keep yourself grounded. Like literally, if it's an electric fence, like you've got to have grounds every so often so that it's not just zapping energy everywhere. So do what you can to make yourself feel that way. When you're taking a shower, maybe intentionally ask the water to like clear your energy and those kind of things. I'm actually listening to the Tibetan healing sounds on YouTube just to kind of get the energy in my house. I saged this morning, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm feeling much more grounded right now, but I just wanted to give you a heads up if you're feeling that way. Just do the best you can. I just hear it's just kind of the energy upgrades that are happening. There's new energy coming into the planet, and our bodies are trying to figure out how to process or actually like our bodies are becoming accustomed to that. The other thing that's been happening for me that I haven't had in a long time is almost like tachycardia. Like my heart just is beating really, really fast. And I used to have that sometimes in my 20s, but for whatever reason, I've experienced it in the last few months a couple times, but I've literally had it every day the last few days. So if you're having anything like that, of course, always check up with your doctor if you feel like it's something more than that. But if your gut is just like, okay, something's just wonky, do all the things you know to do. You know what I mean? Like if you drink too much caffeine, maybe drink water today instead, or if you drink Coke, maybe have Sprite, right? Just maybe adjust a little bit just so that you're not physically adding to it, but also know that it is kind of par for the course. I've talked to a couple of my friends this morning, and all of them are kind of experiencing something similar. So I know this is more collective than just me feeling it. So I wanted to also get that out there, that that could be part of what you're feeling. And if that's so, then just know that it's okay. Just do your best to physically allow it to process through. Support your physical body as much as you can. Electrolytes and minerals are always good to help with excess energy. Again, taking a shower, doing a salt scrub on your hands. So all of those little things that we all know to do, but just a reminder that that might be helpful. I just got some brand new cards in. And honestly, I really wanted to do, I got two cards. I got the Colette Baron Reed new deck. I don't know, even know if it's new. It's new to me. I just ordered it. And it's the Spirit Animal Oracle cards. And I really wanted to use those, but I felt like I needed to use the other deck that I just got, which is the Kyle Gray. And I think his is a pretty recent new deck, and it's called Keepers of the Light Oracle. And I really love them already. Like I just have prayed over them. So just so you guys know, if you are looking at maybe, working with Oracle cards or whatever, I had somebody just message me, and this literally happened. I think it was Saturday morning. And they said, hey, I just got this new deck, and I don't know why I felt like I should get Oracle cards, and I don't know, like, I don't know how to use them, and how do I make sure I'm not inviting anything bad in? And you have to remember that these cards are only paper, okay? So the cards themselves don't hold any power. So I've said that over and over. They hold the energy of the intention of the person that created them, right? So we all know that Colette Baron Reed has a really high vibration. She's awesome. Everything about it is beautiful. Kyle Gray works a lot with the angels. So like that is their intention is for these cards to help us be connected to the light, help us expand our knowledge, those kind of things. So their intention is there. However, it's still just paper. So the only way that you work with the cards is I always pray over them and just ask them to be cleared of anything that doesn't serve or resonate. I ask them to be infused with divine light. And anytime I ever do a card reading, I always pray and ask Jesus and the angels to come in and surround a sacred space. And whatever reading I'm giving, whether it be for me, for a client, for this group, whatever, the idea is always to say that I want the highest and best to come through in the reading for whoever is listening, right? So whatever the highest and best for whoever it is that needs the reading, that's the information that we want to come through, okay? So that being said, I've already done that with this deck. I went through the cards and looked at each of them individually just to kind of get a feel for how they are. I love the pictures, they're beautiful. And then I also cleared the energy and did what I just said. Like you just ask for it to all be cleared, for it to be only the highest and best of interest of whoever is getting the reading to come through the cards, that you're only working with love and light. And then I always pray before I practice anything, right? So always pray for protection before you practice. It's not about like being afraid of the darkness. Like I say this over and over, like that's the only thing about the word protection is it makes you feel like, oh my God, what do I have to be afraid of? And it's not that. It's just the point of like setting up a space to have a safe space to do it, right? Like, and I tell people this all the time, like when you go out into the world, like, if you're in your car, you're going to put on your seatbelt because that's a protection mechanism for when you're driving your car. It's not that you have to be afraid to get in your car and drive. It's just that if you're going to do it, make sure you put on your seatbelt, So it's that kind of, that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying put up, ask for a sacred space, pray before you practice. So you're asking for protective space to be put around the reading so that anything that comes through is only in the highest and best interest of whoever you're reading for. Okay, so that's kind of a little side note. I don't know why I felt like I needed to say that today, but I hope whoever is listening enjoys that and likes it. All right, so that being said, I'm going to go ahead and ask that the cards, whenever I do these readings on Mondays, it's always for the collective of the people on Patreon who are listening to the message, and then I do just the cards themselves in the Facebook group. So I always set the intention that this message is for whoever is receiving it. Also know that like these messages are always kind of like, I know I do them on Mondays, but you could hear it on Thursday and it still resonates for that following week for you, or you could hear it in 2 months and it might be the message you need to hear. So know that when we're working with spirit, time kind of doesn't really matter. So whenever you come across this is in divine timing for you. All right. So that being said, go ahead and start within yourself. Take a deep breath and ask yourself if you're going to resonate with card 1, 2, or 3, or a combination of all of them. And I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards and start getting the reading for us today. Okay. Okay, so these are actually awesome. I love them all. Okay, this is interesting. I don't usually look at the bottom of the deck, but I went to lay them down and for some reason I laid them face up. So I'm going to address that card as well too. But so for card 1, I got Bridget. I'm pretty sure that she's like a Celtic goddess. The card itself says inner strength, and the message is move back to wholeness, recognize that you have the power. So this kind of goes along with what we've been, if you've been following me or if you've been working with me at all, even in the, the Embodied Grace group, or if you're hearing the other messages that I put out, we're really being called to understand and come back into ourselves, into the wholeness of understanding that we have the power of manifesting our own life and creating what we want in our life. And like I said in the message I recorded the end of May, which was for June to the end of the year, it's almost like we're really on the edge of a cliff and it's time to decide how we're going to move forward. So I can tell you that the more that you trust within, the more that you trust your heart and that gut instinct that you have of doing the things that make you happy and doing the things that you enjoy, and really tuning into kind of what makes you sing, right? Like, so whatever your God spark is, like we all have this little spark within us and a lot of us have been trained away from it. Like, don't be too anything, like don't be too loud, or don't be too powerful, or don't be too, whatever that might be, like don't shine too brightly, basically, is a lot of what's happening. And we have to really start embracing who we really are at soul level and showing that to the world. So in the book it said Bridget is a Celtic goddess of Ireland who is closely associated with fire and the time of spring. She was so well loved by the Celtic people that when Christianity came to Ireland, she was adopted as a saint of holy wells and other holy places. She's a powerful figure who can help us channel our energy into something that is important for our growth. And as she herself has lasted through the ages, she adds longevity to our journey so that we can reach a deep state of wholeness. You can call on her to bring you sacred flames to burn away anything that is not serving you, to bless any new projects you have in mind, and for support with fertility. The extended message says your spiritual fire is growing within. Recognize that the power of your soul is greater than you think. Okay, that part right there is almost giving me chills, because this is what I feel like we've been being led to. A lot of us are being led to this. It says you have come a long way since you began this journey. There is a powerful force within you, and you have the ability to create wonderful changes in your own life and inspire those around you to do the same. Be aware of new projects, opportunities, and fertile ideas that can grow into something larger than you may only imagine. Call on this fiery goddess to light the way ahead. So I love her energy. It's really about standing in your power, which I've talked about this too with a lot of my clients. And sometimes there's a misconception about what standing in your power really means. It doesn't mean anything about being overbearing. It doesn't mean anything about like being, pushing your energy on anybody else. It's literally just understanding who you are and being able to stand up for yourself in that. Again, it's a graceful way. It's not anything pushy. It's just being able to be graceful enough about knowing who you are and trusting in that in a wholehearted way. and just literally letting yourself be completely who you are and not being afraid to live it. So that's the message for card 1. All right, card 2, I love this because I got Master Jesus, which is about forgiveness. And the card says, you're on the right path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father, healing is possible at this time. So I'm going to look again. I love, Jesus has been always one of my main guides. And I've been around, like literally, I don't ever remember not seeing Jesus around. So it's just a good reminder that he's always there. And our spiritual teachers like kind of want to remind us, like, they're not going to let us down if we just trust. Okay. So he's saying, I'm right here. Like, you've got angels and guides around you. We're all here ready to support you. If you can reach out and ask for help. Okay. So the book on this one says, a man who needs no introduction. Yeah. Almost everybody, regardless of what religion you have, everybody knows who Jesus was. Through both the Gospels and the Gnostic Gospels, we have come to know Jesus as a great teacher, loving guide, a generous soul who accepts all. Although he is the focal point of Christianity, he will respond to anyone who reaches out to him. He helps us overcome sacrificial love when we have to leave something behind in order to get the love we want. He is also the light keeper we can call on for support with forgiveness. He reminds us that our connection to love is the most important connection we will ever create. Okay, so I'm going to go into the extended message, and then I'm going to give what I'm getting on this. So the extended message is, forgiveness is an act of self-love. You are being encouraged to know that whatever you have done to yourself or others, you are not being condemned for. You don't have to forget what has happened, but you no longer need to allow your story to be defined by a situation that doesn't support happiness. Jesus is here to bring miraculous shifts of healing to all of you and to those around you, to release you from the burden of self-loathing. He wants you to know that he sees the child of God within you. He also brings clarity and healing to any situations concerning your Father, either on earth or in heaven. So I love that he's talking about forgiveness, because the thing with Jesus that's always been interesting to me is it gets so skewed, because a lot of us who grew up in Christianity, it's like we have this idea of, oh my God, you terrible sinner, look what you've done and what I did for you to give you freedom. And that's not what Jesus meant at all. Like, that is not how he intended any of that. Literally, he went through that on purpose, as ordained, to show us the truth of love, and that there's something more than life on this earth. Like, he came to show us about spiritual divine truth, which is eternal life, right? So this is really interesting to me, that we're at this, going back to my June to December reading, that we're at the edge of this cliff where we've got to let go of the BS that doesn't serve us. Right? So some of these old, worn out things that we have thought, that we've been taught, all of those, like, we've got to drop the baggage and just move into knowing that the truth is love. And what's interesting is, when I connect with Jesus, ever since I was little, like, this is always how I felt about it. And I used to always cry in communion because it's so beautiful. And I grew up Methodist, so we only do communion usually once a month. I know a lot of Catholics, they do that a lot, but for us, it was just once in a while we would have communion service. And I always was crying, but not from sadness, with total, complete joy that Jesus really wants to be a part of our life. Like, and he was always like, I always felt like it wasn't what some of the churches teach. It was more like, you beautiful being, like, I did this to show you that there's so much more, right? I did this because I love you. And I went through that so that you could see that there's more to this. Like, this is just a tiny little piece of the truth, right? So I hope that resonates with you guys. I really feel like that's kind of what the forgiveness is huge, because again, we have to drop the things that aren't serving us. And if you're beating yourself up, like, it's time to stop. Like, let go of that. Okay, maybe you messed up. So what? stuff happens, like it's time to drop that and move on and start learning how to love yourself, right? And then the third card that we get is actually the one that I pulled this morning for myself. So again, it's a collective message, and it says Archangel Michael, trusting heaven. And it says, you are safe, angels stand close. Surrender your concerns and allow a miracle to occur. So the book on this one says, Archangel Michael, and then in parentheses, it says Saint Michael. So that he must also be considered a saint in some religions. It says is one of our 4 major archangels in the Abrahamic religions. His twin flame is faith. So trust and faith, right? They always go hand in hand. He is loved all over the world because he is a patron saint of protection. He wields a bright sword of light to help us detach from dramas, challenges, or fears. His name means he who is like God. His fiery presence helps awaken our leadership skills and remind us that we have the capacity to connect with heaven. If challenges are present in your life, call on Michael to bring his sword of light to energetically disconnect you from what's no longer serving you. So some of you that are listening probably already know this, like when you're cutting cords, Archangel Michael is one of the best helpers to call for that, because he does cut cords with his sword. So if you need help with forgiveness, maybe ask him to come in and clear the cords that you have to whatever you need to forgive. That could be, all of these cards really kind of go together. So even if you felt drawn to one, like if you felt drawn to one card, like use that as like your base card, but then maybe listen to the whole message so that you can blend it all together and see what resonates with you. The extended message on this one says, your angel team is with you now. You are not in this alone. You may be feeling sensitive or overwhelmed, but your angels are inviting you to take a step back so that they can come in and share their light of miracles. You may feel that your prayers aren't heard, but that doubt is what blocks the situation from entering your life. Know that Archangel Michael and his legion of angels are here to help you clear anything that's not serving you so that you can allow the miracles of change that you deserve. So I love that that's what this card says, because that's so true. A lot of times what'll happen is we'll say, oh God, please, please help me with this. And then we go, oh, but wait, only if you think I'm worthy. And so like, we literally like block it, because God thinks we're worthy. We've just got to get over our own stuff so that we can believe that we're worthy. So Archangel Michael is coming in to help you clear that, like just cut the cords to the BS. It's time to move on. Again, there's a huge amount of spiritual energy around and willing to help us, because we're in some really interesting times. Like, I don't know any spiritual teacher out there right now that isn't talking about how intense the energy is. Like the energy right now is so intense. And it's literally, like I said earlier, almost like the air is buzzing, because there's just so much energy going on, right? Part of that is because there's also new, and I said this before, new angels. I don't mean that they're new creations. I just mean that there's angels that are stepping in to help in a way that they've never been before, like not as present. They're way more present now and way more available. But as always, it's free will. So I've said this before, so if you've heard me say it, I apologize for repeating it, but it needs to be repeated often, because I think we forget that with free will, they cannot help us unless we invite them to help us. So if we want our spirit team to work with us, if we want the angels to help us, we have to actually ask them for help and say, please help me in this situation. Please, show me the right way. Show me signs. Give me the here's your sign thing. Like, I've had to sometimes say, look, I don't want this like half-ass little, like, here's a little hint. I want the flashing light, like right on, like, here's your sign. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think. Jeff Foxworthy, I think, is the one that says that. Here's your sign. Like, that's what I want. I want it in my face. Like, show me the right way. Show me what I'm doing, kind of thing. So all of our guides are showing up for that, to tell us, here's your signs. So, but you have to ask them to say, show me the signs, right? Or give me the feeling, give me the impression, like however you want to work with them, know that they are there to help you, but you have to ask. Okay. Okay, so then going to the other card that I said, I don't usually pull the bottom of the deck card. Like some readers will use the bottom card of the deck. I just happened to lay this deck down with the card face up, and it says White Eagle, and it says ancestor spirit. Connect to your lineage. A family wound or pattern can be healed now. And I've actually been seeing that a lot. Like a lot of the work I've been doing is like generational. Like it's old, worn out ideas, programs, paradigms, patterns that we've been taught that are not going to be valid in this new energy. Like some of the old, I am so traditional, you guys. Like I love tradition. I love the things about like family traditions and those kind of things. But some of them just don't work now. Like life is moving into a new way. And I know I keep saying a new way of being, but I really, really feel that. Like I really feel like everything about the way we function is moving into a new way of being, right? Part of it is because we're all getting busy. We all live in different places now. Like it's not the same as it used to be where everybody goes to grandma's on Sunday. Like because people live all over now, like everybody's all scattered. Even my family, we're all scattered. Like, you know, I've got one kid in another state and another kid in another state. And you know what I mean? So like, I love, as much as I love that old stuff, like you can't live yourself, like you can't hold on to that so much that you're making yourself miserable because it can't be that way anymore. So you've got to let go of what are the things that are like, if you hold on to that, that can hurt your heart. Like if you can't get together with your family, why would you focus on letting that hurt your heart when you can just say, you know what, it's okay. I'll see them when I can. I get to enjoy them now in a new way because you can, like we Snapchat, my family, we Snapchat almost every day. Like, so it's not like we don't have contact. It's just different. So just be aware of where you're kind of keeping yourself in feeling lack, or where you're keeping yourself in feeling pain or misery or hurt feelings or whatever it is. And let that go. Like, I really feel like family patterns are showing up to be healed. So let me look and see. Okay. The book says White Eagle is a Native American shaman who is dedicated to honoring our spiritual heritage. He is a world-renowned spiritual guide who has been particularly cherished by all over the world. He first spoke through a medium called Grace Cook. Oh, I love that. Her name is Grace. In the early 20th century. He is a guide who helps create clear channels in our bloodline and our spiritual lineage so we can access the heart of the Creator. He also helps us move into sacred ceremony where we can hold sacred space to honor a change, transition, celebration, or anything else that deserves time. He is wonderful for clearing space, and we can call on him for help in forging spiritual connections. The extended message on this says, take some time to honor just how far you've come, recognizing through ceremony and ritual that the shifts in your awareness, healing, and journey really allows you to move in a state of grace and gratitude. You have or have recently had an opportunity to heal an old family wound or pattern. It's important to connect with your family and spirit so that you can set a new energy of love in place. White Eagle is bringing your ancestors through and allowing you to know that they are happy as well. He is sounding his sacred drums to clear your spirit. So I love that. It's really beautiful. And the card again is beautiful. And I love the Native American, I love all of their teachings and the way everything is so sacred. Like everything to them is sacred. The grass, the air, the water, the dirt, you know, all of it is sacred. So I love that too. And I really do feel like it's important to understand that some of maybe what you're letting go of is generational stuff, right? Like I hate to say the word sin because people get so much dogma around that, but it could be generational sin. It could be, you know, generational wounding. It could be whatever. And just to clarify that, sin just means missing the mark. So it could be just something like where my family generational pattern that I broke was the negativity pattern, right? Like it's nothing's ever good enough. That was kind of part of the energy that was just kind of stuck, and it had just happened, I'm sure, from, you know, generations back. And a lot of us probably have that in some way because a lot of our families went through like the 20s, you know, and the crash and all of that kind of stuff. So that created a bunch of lack energy. So it's almost like we're clearing all of that old garbage now. Yeah. Okay. So that just came in pretty strong. That kind of stuff is done. Like it is time to clear that. It's been almost 20 years, right? I don't remember when the stock market, like when was that? And I know the 20s and I know the 30s. Like I remember reading and then learning about like like terrible, terrible dirt storms in Southeast Colorado back in the day, right? There was such a lack of water. right? So lack of money, lack of jobs, lack of whatever. So it's time to really let go of that lack in whatever way that shows up for you. So, you know, wherever you can notice lack in your own self, in your own life, in your own whatever, like wherever you're experiencing that, it's really time to start working on clearing and healing that. So all of these guides that came in definitely are here to help us with coming back into wholeness, understanding our true divine nature, our true power, forgiving and letting go of what doesn't serve, and then knowing that we have to trust and have faith that everything's going to work out. So that's it for today. I hope you guys are having a great day. I would love to hear back to let me know if this resonates or how, you know, how this is showing up for you. But again, you guys, if you're on Patreon, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, I'm still figuring it out. So I really want to start building that channel as much as I can. And like I said, since I'll be on vacation, just know that there's going to be, you know, some bonuses in there for you since I won't be there to do the Monday readings. So I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm actually really glad I did this reading. I feel lighter now just from doing this. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will talk to you soon.